Welcome. This is David Boles' Human Meme. Today, how not to paint. Life must mean something. Creation must have a purpose. Art must fulfill a basic human need. Those are three universal truths that willfully, if unwittingly, guide us from cradle to grave. There's this thing in America now, and perhaps the world over too, where regular people, untrained artists, can learn to paint by taking a one-shot class that usually includes drinking wine. You pay a single fee to go paint on a canvas and get drunk. The idea, I suppose, is to have fun. But at what price? To degrade the experience of creating real art in paint? Here's how it works. Everyone sits in a line, perhaps 30 people on each side of a long series of co-joined tables, and there's an instructor at the head of the class. Everyone has the same sized canvas and paint and brushes, and you do exactly what the instructor tells you to do. You are recreating, in tow, like a machine, like an Edsel Ford assembly line, an exact replica of the teacher's painting. The teacher paints a red background, you paint a red background. The teacher paints a white flower, you paint a white flower. Teacher, yellow sun, you, yellow sun. Everything precisely, exactly the same. Then you're finished. You're a painter. Yes, that's the idea of this scheme. We make you a painter in 30 minutes or it's free. That's a pizza delivery joke for non-American listeners. This isn't just paint by numbers awfulness. This is pretend art, a degradation of creation by groupthink and intellectual unindulgence and the refusal to follow your own blazing pathway. How does one learn how to paint? First, you live. Then, you lose. Art, at its very gory core, is loss. Not joy or happiness or well-being. The true artist suffers and is miserable and craves to be alone, to come to terms with the darkest parts of the world. Many true artists are able to converge their darkness with the lighter realm of the world. But to do what they do, they go it alone, deep diving in the barest and blackest sense of the soul. Must the artist suffer to create? The answer is, without question. A life of joy and griefless attribution is not an examined life, and is a life without the crusty merit of divining experience beyond the ridiculed self. We all suffer. We are all bound together in our shared grief. But only the real artist is actuated to confess and reveal that pain in public, with or without attribution, for the rest of the living. There must always be a mortal threat to the artist's soul, and an active fighting back against losing everything to that danger. There is an embedded seriousness to the true artist that cannot be purchased or painted or imbibed. But that doesn't stop business from trying to sell copy art classes to the unwashed, who think writing a book is as easy as making a grocery list. An old writing mentor of mine always told me to be careful when it comes to talking out loud about your feelings, about writing and strategy, because, he said, the people sitting around writing the worst TV sitcom in history all think they're writing Shakespeare. That's a lesson never to be lost, especially by those who knowingly and willfully sell these copy-me painting courses with no purpose or intention other than to steal the money from the fun-havers. The wicked deterioration of the artist in society begins with this sort of unnoble copy what I do. First a theme, then an invention, then a mandate, all ending up mocking the craft. And soon, everyone says they're a painter, and they have proof of it, hanging on their kitchen wall. Am I being an elitist about this? Or am I speaking truth to a lie as a realist when it comes to coming to terms with fraudsters and the snake oil sellers hovering around us, waiting to steal $1 or $2 from a couple of drunks with some tempera paint dripping from a polyester brush in a ham-fisted clutch? This copy-me art is not learning by imitation or inspiration. It's follow the leader. And we all know where that sort of thinking gets you. Right over the cliff as you follow the Pied Piper of Hamelin down the rat hole. Art is what you make it, but not what others tell you to make. But wait a minute, some might shout now. You always said art was imitation because Aristotle. Okay, right. There is a difference between copying and imitation. Here's exactly what Aristotle wrote about imitation. Epic poetry and tragedy, comedy also, and dithyrambic poetry, and the music of the flute and of the lyre, in most of their forms, are all in their general conception modes of imitation. They differ, however, from one another in three respects: the medium, the objects, the manner or mode of imitation being in each case distinct. For as there are persons who, by conscious art or mere habit, imitate and represent various objects through the medium of color and form, or again by the voice, so in the arts above mentioned, taken as a whole, the imitation is produced by rhythm, language, harmony, either singly or combined. There's the real difference between drunk, paint-by-numbers imitation and real art that is learned and mastered through imitation of the masters. True art and the right artist knows the correct manner or mode of imitation is vital to success. And rhythm, language, harmony, apart or together, are all vital keystones to unlocking that magic. If you are lucky, you will find yourself in the throes of a fight between wisdom and practicality, and not just a flat parole evidence copying of something common and unbeguiling. We may not know art when we see it, but the artist knows what art is not when it is created. Thank you for listening. Be a human meme.